Hello, my name is Reid. I'm a motocross racer. At least I was a long time ago. As any motocross racer that will be or has done, they all refer to themselves the same way, and so no matter how long I've been away from it, I'm still a motocross racer to my roots, my core, my personality, everything I do. I got my start in Southern California, as a lot of the guys did in the 70s and early 80s. I was born in Southern California, raised in Orange County, right off Beach Boulevard. And like a lot of kids in the 60s, we rode our bicycles every day to school, home from school, in the fields between school and home. Whatever fields we heard about had jumps built in them by some other kids from some other neighborhoods. And it was a great life, a good place to grow up. A lot of fun times, a lot of open areas to ride in. Eventually we all got mini bikes. We would go visit all the local motorcycle shops that we could ride our bicycles to whenever we got the chance. So Pete Maley's CZ shop down in Costa Mesa, Bob Maynard's Orange County Cycle, Rustin's Yamaha, Westminster Sports Cycles, Herb Friedlander Honda. I mean, you could just name a million shops. The Suzuki shop over on Garden Grove Boulevard and Beach Boulevard. We rode all over the place. My first race, and I'll break them into a few different, my absolute very first race was a place called Garden Grove Mini Bike Park. And if you go down the 22 freeway, right at Bolster Grande High School, there's a little soccer stadium there. That used to be a mini bike park that was all of 75 yards square. And I went there, pushed my Yamaha Mini Enduro up there one Saturday, and got somebody to sign a release for me because my mom wasn't with me. I was only 12 years old. And the kids were riding around, and they stopped everybody and had a race, and that was my first race. Well, unofficial, but that was it. I rode a few mini bike races here and there. Got beat by a girl at the California State TT Championships, and so that was a good moment to have as when you're a young man, to be embarrassed totally. And nothing against girl racers, but they're not supposed to beat me. So but my first real chance at racing, and I mean real chance at racing, was a good friend of our family. Our family would ride in the desert a lot on the weekends. And there was a man and his wife named Dennis Blanton and Wendy Blanton. And when the 73 Elsinores first came out, I had an SL 125 that I had traded up my Mini Enduro for, and my mom helped me pay for. And riding with them, Dennis was the mechanic for Marty Tripes at that time with Team Honda. And him and some other folks that worked at Honda saw me riding with them all the time, and told my mom, well, this kid's fast, and she didn't have any gauge. And so they finally said, no, he's really fast. He can do good. So from never having raced a motocross, Dennis Blanton and Wendy bought a 1973 CR 125 Elsinore, and took me to my very first race at Ascot Park. Kelvin Franks, who was the vice president of CMC at that time, was running the sign-up booth. And here my mom comes up with this kid. I was 4'10", I weighed 92 pounds. I looked like I was 11 years old. I was 14, but you know, I could get in for a child's price at the movies at that time. And she proceeded to tell Kelvin Franks that this young man is an intermediate. He'll probably be a top intermediate. No, he's never raced in his life, and no, he shouldn't race with the juniors because they're crazy and they'll just crash him. And all the other people that were in line at sign up were staring at this stage mother and this little kid that I literally looked like I was a little kid, and they're all rolling their eyes, and my mom's just, you know, carrying on. But she told him, look, he's going to race intermediate, and that's all there is to it. And Kelvin Franks backed down and said, okay, he can race intermediate, and if he doesn't do good, we'll make him move back down. So that was my first race that night, and Kelvin Franks never came and said anything about moving back down to junior. So I almost won the third moto that night against a guy named Tag Turner. Tag Turner, if you're out there, I still remember that race. Anyway, so I went actually very quickly through the intermediate ranks of CMC, made CMC Pro when I was 15, and then and had a lot of good luck. I won the California High School Championship at the end of '74. So my first race was June of '73. By December of '74, I won the California State title, and I had decided I wanted to go pro a few months before that. And I remember telling Chuck Bauer, who was the number 3 in the nation, 125 national rider at that time. He rode for Honda. I told him I wanted to go race the nationals, and Chuck inspired me a lot. And Chuck, I never said thank you, but here I'm saying thank you. I said, I want to race the nationals next year. And Chuck said, why do you want to do that? You're not fast enough. Just stay home and try to beat everybody here like Marty Smith did, and forget about it. And I didn't have a response that I verbalized, but I internalized the 2-word response to Chuck. But Chuck, I love you. Thanks for the inspiration. So I did go out and race my first national the next year in '75 at Hangtown, and got 4th at my first national, and rode the rest of the national series that year and ended up getting 4th at the last national. So I think I had a pretty good rookie season on the nationals, and from there, and that's when FMF started helping me too, is when I started late '74, early '75. When I first started doing stuff with FMF, I learned to make pipes from Ed Dembo in the shop class at school, and I got to be a pretty good pipe builder. In fact, used to make pipes for FMF in my garage before I started making enough money to in racing that I didn't have to do that anymore. But I continued to make a lot of my own pipes over the years, and liked hanging out with all the guys that worked for Emler that were pipe builders, like Dave Miller and Cliff Lett, anyway, you could name all the guys from FMF, and they're all going to kill me for not getting their names out right away. But we all hung around. Bob Oliver. Anyway, all porters and pipe builders. So my background is a lot of technical too, and which helped me when I got a factory ride at the end of '76 after again doing well with FMF. And when I was a factory rider, it helped me that I had a technical background. Even though I was only 18, I knew how to rebuild motors and build pipes and do all that stuff. So that helped me a lot, and had a good factory career, and I love doing it. So.